Let me say, as a country, we would like to share experiences. I'm sure the experiences we can learn from you, both from the state point of view, but also the national government, in an effort to, as you reform the health sector in your own states. I'm sure there's a lot we can learn from you as we discuss with the people here, so that we can add value to what you are going to do. I think lastly, even if you don't gain everything, I think we will be ready to communicate and to send information and to share along the way until you are satisfied.
We have a long-term plan to ensure that we transform slowly towards universal health coverage. We have started the building blocks. Part of that, the risk pooling, the insurance is part of that pool. Improving the infrastructure, footprint of infrastructure, improving quality of care. Look at efficiencies in the system as well to address cost of medicine, still very expensive. Cost of care, basically. We are also reforming the issue of human resources, a bigger headache, just I'm sure like that's in Nigeria. Managing human resources is a big challenge. Attracting and recruit, be able to attract and retain the very best, whether nursing or doctors or specialists, is still an issue that we are struggling with. But over time, we are progressively ensuring that we are able to improve and actualize that right to health for Kenyans. We are also reforming our partnership with the private sector. We have a very robust private sector here. So even some of the places you never thought somebody would invest, we're now seeing people going to some of the hard-rich areas, private sector investing.
As a way of supporting the health sector, again, we've also embraced, as the Principal Secretary has put in, the private-public partnership to us, which is a very strong, innovative approach that is going to drive this health sector to another level.
They are coming here to learn, but there's a couple of things that we may also want to learn from them. Mm-hmm. And the latest that I might point out here is that they are, I think, in January, they are going to be able to institute a single-digit lending mechanism for private sector investors in health. I think it's starting with Lagos State. And this is going to be government money that is being put aside to lend directly to the health sector so that the private sector can invest. That's something that we are still struggling with here, and it's something that I think that the Kenya government would want to learn something about.
Sure.
Mr. Yumbia, this delegation is the one that we have been waiting for from Nigeria. It is in the country for 4 days as a study tour, to exchange ideas on some of the things that are happening in transforming the quality and access to health care in our two countries. The delegation consists of 4 states in Nigeria. There's Lagos State, there is Ogun State, there's Kwara State, and there's Delta State. And then now we are here to the board to see how do you regulate health sector in this country, and what are some of the reforms that you have put in place to make it possible for that to happen.
The World Bank has supported us. We sit with them, we give a proposal, they support the workshop, and they support the legal team to ensure the regulation comes to effect. We developed a joint inspection checklist, and that is a checklist that we used for 2 years. Then after that, we discovered the mistakes that are there, and then we reviewed it afresh. It was gazetted last year. That checklist is available on our website. It is already working. Last week, they inspected 240 facilities in 3 counties. And last month, they inspected 278 in another 4 counties. So basically, that is what we are doing.
Periodically, we actually do the routine inspections. Sometimes in January, we're supposed to go back to Tanzania, because when we did the last inspection, 4 of the universities did not meet the criteria. And so they've now appealed that we go back and see, because they have improved the standards that were there.
According to World Bank, NHIF is acclaimed as one of the most forward-looking healthcare financing institutions. This is why IFC has organized a trip to NHIF for a delegation from Nigeria from yesterday 13th and today 14th. And of course, the purpose of the study is just to see what we have and what we can share between ourselves. We attribute our success to reforms in human resource and ICT, which has seen us gradually scale down in our operating costs to beyond 50%. We currently stand at 6.2 million principal members, which gives a bigger population of the coverage in the country.
On behalf of the World Bank Group and Farm Access Foundation that collaborated with you to make this happen, we could not be happier. We are extremely grateful to both the Nigerian and the Kenyan teams and parties for, number one, accepting to share from each other, and number two, accepting the invitations at very, very short notice.
Indeed, it has been a very wonderful moment here in Kenya. Just like we have reiterated severally, we have been taken through some of your facilities. Indeed, you have done well, and we believe that before you got to this level, you have explained to us the challenges, the progress recorded, and we believe that with what you have done and with what you have seen also, we have been challenged, and we believe that when we have our way and when we get when we get back to our country, we'll do everything within our ability to ensure that we replicate such.
What we are able to learn here more, the first thing is we have seen that Africans, we can be trusted with public funds. That is what you have exhibited here. That is the first thing I've seen. And the second thing, we've seen the processes we've been taking, the processes we learned through it. And for us in Kwara State, I must say, we're coming at the right time, because we are in the process of passing a bill into law that will take care of Kwara State health insurance scheme.
It's opened up possibilities of what we can achieve in Delta State if we really want to do it. My job demands that I make recommendations to the commissioners and the people in charge, and I'll definitely take back a few things. One of the such things is the different packages available. I really like that. I'm going to work on that, particularly super cover. And then your enrollment methods was fantastic. We were planning to go on biometrics, but after seeing what you've done, I think we'll take it back and do something else.
Our readiness to move on is in the affirmative. To me, it's been fun, it's been a challenge, and we are sure of the success for Lagos. Thank you very much.
There's a lot of learning, and the simplest way to learn is to learn from people that actually look like you. Okay, because this will have been probably not create the kind of impression that it has on me if it's been somewhere outside the African continent.